Mariposa Talks, I'm talking with Wes Trinier, a local artist who came up with the idea for a very special kind of painting to honour the Mariposa Folk Festival. So, Wes, could you tell us how this wonderful painting, or how you got the idea for this, and explain what happened?
Sure. Well, in our group, we're called Studio Point, and there's about 10 painters that every year come to Studio Point, and we all do some paintings, and we help the kids paint as well. So for the 20th anniversary...
20th anniversary of Mariposa coming back to Orillia.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
We want to do something special. And so we held a meeting, and actually Marc Calverly came up with an idea of looking out from the back of the stage out into the audience. Mm-hmm. We thought that was great. So what we did was, there's 4 of us that got together, myself, Marc Calverly, Travis Shilling, and Will McGarvey.
Yes.
And so we went to Travis's studio, and we started to fool around a little bit on sheets of paper of having people and things like that. And then Travis Shilling started to paint an animal. Mm-hmm. And he did one animal, and then that was it. We just went, this is great, we're going to do animals. So we started marking in animals. So we outlined a bunch of animals. We really, really thought this was great. I think it took us 4 or 5 sessions to complete the scene of Mariposa. In the background, there's the pub tents, there's the food court, Lake Couchiching, and in the foreground was all the animals. And then we had this middle piece here that we just weren't sure what to do. And we started coming up with an idea about having Gordon Lightfoot, because he's Mariposa. Yes. And so we have Gordon Lightfoot on one side. We have Samuel de Champagne here. Yes. And then also on the right-hand side, we have our famous author, Stephen Leacock. So we thought that would work, and it actually did. So everything was outlined. We brought it to Mariposa for the weekend. Will McGarvey had picked out all of the different colors of acrylic paint that we were going to use that weekend, and supplied all the brushes. So we started from there. So when people came by our Studio Point area, this was right on the walkway, and we were standing there offering people the chance to paint. So we had children from 2 years old to men and women up to 80 years old that started to paint. So we figured about at least 150 people painted it, and then the rest of the artists dabbled into it as well. So we figured about 160 people actually made this painting.
So you basically just did the outline, and the people did all the colouring.
Yes.
In. They did all the colouring, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like paint by numbers.
Yes.
Almost, and that gave all the people the real good feeling of participating, because you'd know that you just stay in those 2 lines there. Yeah. You can paint any color you want. Yeah.
What sort of reactions did you get from people at the festival?
Oh, they loved it. A lot of people came by and didn't want to paint, and then they would walk away and then come back, and then they'd see 3 or 4 other children or adults painting, so they just decided they were going to paint too. So somebody would just paint, one little piece or the whole, figure. And we had Leacock here. Somebody painted Leacock for about an hour and a half. So we had people that did 2 strokes and left, and we had people that kept coming back.
So what did you gain from that experience?
I just really enjoyed people's enjoyment of seeing it, and once they realized that they were able to be a part of it, their excitement.
Yeah, turn me loose in your house and see what happens.
Some people would only spend a couple of seconds or a minute or 2, but there were people that spent 45 minutes on their little part of it. And
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, the results speak for themselves. Right. It worked out as great as it could,
I always just like the response. I always like when people are involved in art, and I always like it when it, sparks joy. You know what I mean? And this particular one does.
Yeah, there's just a little bit of, lots of people that I know in there. My own son did this one, and there's a little bit of everybody in there, so it's great that way.
Interacting with the public.
Absolutely, always.
Good experience.
Always.
It's got a wonderful warmth of Mariposa. It's got this, great colors. And when we randomly gave them paint colors, they just kind of filled them in. Nobody said, oh, we need more orange up here, or you should get that bluey green over here. They just had fun.
I think when you're able to walk away from something like this and know that everybody had a chance to be involved and to leave a little bit of themselves, and that they can always go and look at it and say, well, I did, you know, that hat, you know, sort of thing, and it's historical, and that's what paintings usually are, you know, and they last.
What do you think of the finished article?
I think that even close up, to spend time and trying to look at each figure individually, there's so much to see and imagine.
I think it's a beauty.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's great. You know, like people really got it, and they really got into it, and they finished it. It's a complete piece.
Yeah. Well, I think the painting captures Mariposa's spirit. I mean, we picked a few characters that are known in Orillia. It's modernist because the characters that are larger than life are actually out of perspective. You know, if we were really looking back at the stage, things would disappear toward or get smaller towards the horizon. But here we've put, you know, Lightfoot and Champlain and Leacock, and in their very most casual sort of colorist, you know, forms. And so they are a little bit dominant in the middle, but they don't take over. It's a really lovely balance to the sort of the villages. So it speaks very well for Mariposa.
And then from afar, just the way that the colors blended, obviously just by happenstance, it looks like it was you know, it had forethought, and that it was meant to be. It's just such a perfect, colorful and lively piece.
People really responded to it, and they responded to the colors, they responded to the energy and to the spirit of the festival. That was what we were hoping for, and that's what happened. It was great, and that's why we came up with such a beautiful piece here.
It's really a mix of people, a mix of demographics, of ages, of musical tastes, and so I think it just captured everything that Mariposa is all about, so, and in a fun way.
What's going to happen to this painting now?
Well, we've contacted the city of Orillia, and we're hoping that it could be displayed publicly somewhere, and some of the suggestions have been the library or the recreation center when it gets built. And so we're trying to work towards that to see if we can be, you know, in the public domain until next year's festival. And then I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen at that point, but it'll go back to the festival in some form or another for sure.